you're ready to get your savings up so that you can be able to buy your dream home or really just make more progress towards your savings goals, more so than you did last year, then keep watching. Most people overlook this one important step when it comes to their finances, and it keeps them stuck in debt. What am I talking about? Emergency funds. And I'll be walking you through everything you need to know to get started. First off, let's talk about why emergency funds are so important. So life is just full of surprises. You could need a car repair this week, or a medical bill might pop up because maybe your kids got into a little minor accident, or your spouse could end up losing their job. I mean, those are things that, we hope it never happens, but life is life. It's just pretty much expect the unexpected. So how can we just be proactive, be on top of these things, that when they do happen, we are ready? And so this is what's gonna help you keep putting things on the credit card, because in the end, you'll end up paying even more because the interest is just gonna accumulate on that purchase. And so what you thought was just maybe for like a $1,000 thing turns up being much more. So how to determine the right size for your emergency fund? A good rule of thumb is to aim for 3 to 6 months, but it really depends on each person. And that's the kind of thing that I go into with my clients when they sign up for Money Clarity, which is a 90-minute session, which gives you a little bit more of an overview of where you stand with your money and some initial steps to get you closer to the goals that you have. But in there, I help ask you even more questions when it comes to your emergency fund. It could be something like, well, with your current job, like how competitive is it? If it's super competitive, maybe it might take a little bit more time to be able to find you a job if something were to happen with your position. Or let's say you're just somebody who feels just more comfortable knowing that they have 12 months worth of for their emergency fund if anything were to happen. Then we might work towards that instead of just the typical 3 to 6 months. So it just really depends on each person. Next, automate your savings. So set up automatic transfers from your paycheck to your emergency fund to make saving effortless. And really be as small as just even $5 per paycheck, because every little bit counts. Have you ever heard of Pay Yourself First? This is what we're referring to, because it's for you in the future who might have to deal with some of the scenarios we talked about earlier in the video. We hope it never happens, but we're ready for it. And even if it's just a portion of it, like you might not feel like you've accumulated a lot. Well, something is so much better than nothing. It's also crucial to keep your emergency fund separate from your everyday spending account. That way you don't get tempted to use it for non-emergencies. Remember, every little bit counts. Even that $5 I had mentioned earlier, that is enough if that fits perfect for your current situation right now. Because here's the thing, you can increase it over time and then be able to reach your emergency fund goal much quicker. But for now, do what you can. And even if you have debt right now, I still feel like you could really benefit of saving for an emergency fund at the same time, because that way if you have a little extra, then you can save towards that emergency fund and not find yourself in a situation where you do require some extra money and, like I said before, having to use a credit card. And last but not least, don't forget to reassess your emergency fund, because we go through different life changes. You could be married with your spouse and it's just the two of you, and then you end up years later having kids, and then so the emergency fund would have to be modified to make sure to cover for the expenses that you have as a family of four. So make sure you're constantly looking through that when there's any life changes. And there you have it, the emergency fund essentials in just a few steps. Thanks for watching.